Theodore Roosevelt once said, "The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best, if he wins, knows the thrills of high achievement, and if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat."
Day Before Rehab Podcast, dude. This is cool. We try to do this for like a couple months at least, right? The brothers Fettingham, Jimmy, Ryan. I was just telling to Jimmy before you got here. It's like us Northeast dudes have like all the same story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hang out in the park, the woods, play sports, get fucked up, fall in love with it, go to rehab, and then start your life over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Multiple times sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I wanted to ask you, and like I hate to jump around, like because you just got married, right? Congratulations. What was that like, dude, getting married without your pop?
You know,
I don't mean to like spring it on you, but that was the first thing that was on my mind because I did the same thing. So what was that like for you?
I don't know. I like that week I wasn't working like the 4 days leading up to it. So I like had a lot of time to kind of reflect and think about and kind of harbor the moment. And some of the things that came up like heavy in spots was that like my dad wasn't here to be able to like do the pregame stuff with us, or even like the stupid stuff that he would do, like set up and get the sandwiches and make sure everything was situated. And just not having them there was like, I mean, it came and went as daunting as it was, but I don't think, it kind of goes hand in hand with like, I never thought that I would be at my wedding without my dad. I also never thought I'd be at my wedding sober. Like when people got sober, because that came up for me when I was thinking about it. I was like, I never thought like a couple of these things would be going on my wedding day. I always picture my wedding day, like nice place. We're going to get drinks in 9 a.m. like all the boys over. Yeah, it's going to be a whole fucking thing. A whole thing. And it's just like how much things have changed. And like the things that were missing that day, like my dad and not drinking, like one bad, one good. But it's just like those things like came up that week. Like I never thought, like I used to think like, how do people get married? You're not going to toast and not drink. And so I had that coming at me, like, but super grateful that those are things that I didn't have to worry about. Right. But that wasn't coming up as much as like having my dad not there. But like, thank God that I have siblings. Like, thank God Jimmy was there. I mean, Jimmy probably made it like, and my mom and Aaron, like without them, I think I would have been in a lot lonelier spot. Yeah. About it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it helped being distracted by the busyness of everything going around. Yeah, because it's a lot. It's fucking chaos. But it definitely weighed heavy in spots like leading up to it, you know, especially the day of, like the times I'm by myself. You know what I mean? Yeah, we talked about that. But yeah, it was definitely there for sure. You know, it's funny. Before I had any introduction to AA at all, my dad was still he was sober, died 20 years sober. I remember I said to him, dude, like, you're not going to have a fucking drink with me when I get married? Are you fucking serious? Like, coming at him. Now, I had no introduction to AA, like, to even, like, be able to process, like, how fucked up is that of me to ask this how guy selfish. Sober on heroin. You know what I mean? And, like, I think he was actually considering it. That's how fucked up I was. You know what I mean? Like, convincing. Like, But
I think it also helped, too, for you that Diane, his wife, actually lost her dad, too. Yeah. Really? So they could kind of go through that together, or at least both be in the same boat. You know what I mean? Right.
That was definitely a big thing, because when it would come up for me, like we have such great chemistry with things like that she knows when things are coming up, and I know when things are coming up. And of course, with an event like that, having her there to like be like, I know. Ain't how some people say I know, but they don't fucking like know. Being sober, like the people like, yeah, I know it was probably hard for you. But they have no idea. Yeah. But for her to be there, like the comfort in that's huge. I didn't even think of that. Was amazing, because we were doing it together and we were both missing our dads that day. Damn. And it was two big pieces but we could also enter that together.
Yeah.
And we were one in that too, which, I mean, it just made me stronger in to have a partner that's going through the same
that
thing.
That can relate to everything
really understands.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That is crazy. So how did I mean, I want to get into your story, but like the dad thing is like, you know, you guys heard me joking around about my dad, dude. Like, and I imagine you guys were as close with your pop as I was with mine. So it's like fucking terrible.
Yeah. Sucks.
How did that affect you with your sobriety?
I think, so my dad's before he passed, which was August of 22, he was sick for a while. He had like colitis, Crohn's, stuff with his stomach. Mm-hmm. He had a couple colostomy bags, and most of it stress induced. And then he was diagnosed with this blood disorder, MDS. So he was getting blood transfusions weekly, actually a couple times a week for like a year, 6 months to a year. And I think I kind of processed it, his passing prior to him actually passing, or at least kind of had a sense of like what the end was going to look like.
Because he was sick for so long?
Kind of, or like, and it might sound morbid, but like just him, like kind of like knowing that like, not that the end was near, but like this day's going to come, and it might be sooner, it might be later, but like I'm going to enjoy every moment I have with him. You know what I mean? So for like the last 2-3 years or 2 years, so I got sober in 2020, he died in 22. Mm-hmm. I had like this clarity and this mindset. I think that like any chance I get, I'm going to spend time with him. Any chance I get when I do spend time with him, it's going to be quality time. Like put my phone down, put my phone in the other room, and it's just going to be me and him.
Yeah.
Like even down the shore and stuff. Like our thing was the one summer I lifeguarded down there, and I would come home from work every day. I work like 9 to 5. I would ride my bike home, and he would always prepare dinner, and we would eat dinner together, and then we would go outside. I would smoke a cigar. He's not a cigar smoker. Mm-hmm. We would just sit there and bullshit, and I would leave my phone inside, and we would sit out there for like an hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and just talk.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. And I love those times, and they're kind of, when I feel lonely or I miss him, those are like kind of the times I reflect on. You know what I mean? So it was, I guess, just, and I had a different mindset being sober, like towards the end of his life, that like I was going to make the most of every opportunity I had with him.
Did you ever have people tell you guys like, you know, be thankful for the time that you had with your dad? I get it.
Yes.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my dad was the man. Like, I have no bad feelings or experiences. Like, everything about him was the best. I don't care if it lasted 41 years or 141 years. Like, I don't want to hear it.
Right.
Like,
right.
You know?
And even like with that, it's like when somebody passes, like even like your dad, or like someone talks about their dad who may have passed, they're like, oh my God, my dad was this and that. Like, I truly and genuinely believe this, and I know he does too, that like my dad was the best. And I know you can relate to it, because like you've told us stories about like different things or connections that you and your dad would have.
Yeah.
But like my dad was the best.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And like,
absolutely.
And like, I honestly believe that from like top to bottom, like no matter what he did in his life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was it. He was the guy. Man. Yeah.
I would always joke around and I say, you take the best father and son couple on the planet, and me and my dad were closer. You know what I mean? I know you guys feel the same fucking way. Yeah. Why would you not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was cool with us too growing up, because, you know, my sister got sober like almost 18 years ago. My dad would have been 23 years now. So like we had that connection too.
Yeah.
You know, I just couldn't figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
I think when I knew he was going to go, I stopped for like 2 weeks because I knew I was going to give the eulogy, and I don't know what my life would have turned out like if I wasn't sober doing that. So I at least mentally felt like I was clear, and I did that, and I did it well, but like
stopped using for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I went back to meetings. I forget. Actually, I did. I went to a meeting the night he died, so I at least had like a couple 2-3 weeks by the time we did the funeral. But I appreciate you guys actually having a legit sobriety with your pops, because like, you know, even though when I was drinking and using, my dad was the man, but like I wasn't the man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I regret that.
Yeah.
I regret that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's like for anything, like I still to this day have regrets about how much time I wasted.
Yeah.
You know, because I wasn't a one-time winner. I'd been in and out. I think I was 6 or 7 treatment facilities, which with his conditions and stuff, I mean, the stress of me and worrying about me didn't help. I mean, I don't fully blame myself. I mean, part of it hurts, but just like the time I wish I had back, as much as I'm grateful for those 2 years, like I'm 33 years old, like there's a lot of time in that 7-year pocket that I'm like, you know, all he wanted was nothing more than to do what I'm doing now, which is just making the next right decision. That's how I had to break it down, because after all the times in treatment, I tried 90 and 90.
Yep.
I tried no meetings. I tried listening to you. I tried listening to everyone. I tried listening to no one. I tried doing it myself. Nothing worked until like a simpleton like me had to break it down. Like, and someone told me this, I don't know if it was in the rooms or something. You have to pick one person to start not to lie to start. Like, go from there. Pick one person. Someone has to know where you're at. Like, has to be accountable to, like, tell one person the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
No bullshit.
Let someone in. Start there. Like, because for me, like, I mean, for addicts like us and like me, like, one lie begins to another, and you're in a whirlwind of
bullshit
and despair. And I mean, it doesn't get better there. It's
but
just,
so what led you to that though? You talked about the treatments, the trying to all these different ways. Like, what can you say honestly got you to stop for real this time? Because how many years you have now?
A little over 4.5.
4.5. Okay. So what led you to finally giving up after all the failed attempts?
You know what? And I was thinking about this today, and it's come up in the past when, like, because like I do try to do some reflection throughout the year, at least a couple times a year, on my sobriety and like what has worked and what hasn't, because year to year it changes about what I'm dealing with. But I think at the end, I was so desperate for everyone to give up on me, like almost praying and begging that like my family, my siblings, my dad, people that love me would stop and give up on me so I could, because I had given up on myself and we could be at peace with it. But the fact that no one would, and my dad would say, "Come on, one more round. You can do it."
That's
you know
what
I mean?
Say?
Like, yeah, I was in Florida and I would call him and he'd be like, "You're tougher than this. You're tougher than this," when I want to come home. And my mom, my brother, my sister, like people that didn't give up on me. And I started to be like, you know what? Like, for once in my life, at least, and I know it's cliche, one day at a time, I'm not going to give up on myself today. And I'm just going to trust the people that love me, that have faith that I can do it, and that have loved me when I couldn't love myself. I'm going to let them love me and believe in me until I can meet them halfway. And I kind of started there, and it was simple for me in the beginning. Like, I'm not going to lie today. I'm going to do the next right thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
all the things they tell us.
Right. And of course, I failed and did stupid things and messed up. But at the base of it, which they talk about in AA, is like, I didn't pick up a drink a day at a time. And that's a win sometimes.
That's an absolute win on the worst day.
Right. Yeah.
No question.
Like, sometimes I get on myself like, damn, I missed the gym 2 days in a row.
Yes.
Is that the end of the world? I didn't drink today. Yeah. I didn't lie to my mom today. My mom knows where I'm sleeping tonight. You know, it was little wins like that. And then the first year was tough. And getting through like the turning point of like starting to get the momentum that I got, that like, I don't want to, like, I've worked too hard, like, to go back now for what? And it started to make more sense. And even as I continue through my sobriety, more has been revealed about how much more sense it makes to never go back.
Yeah, well, think about your life, dude. I remember, you know, I guess it was maybe 2 years ago at this point, where you were maybe a year and a half, where you're going through the medical device sales training.
Right before I got in the fire department.
But you wanted to be a firefighter. You became a firefighter. You just got married. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy shit, dude.
And by just showing up, being honest, and making the next right decision.
Yeah.
Or best decision. You're not, I miss.
Well, like an informed decision at this point. You know what I mean?
Right. Where there's some like thought behind it, and there's no malice and sometimes selfishness. But as much as I can keep that out, like I tend to trend in the right direction.
Yeah. That's how I look at my life. Like, just keep going in the positive direction, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, what about you? You have a little different story, right? How old are you?
36.
And what, you're 38?
33.
Oh shit, you're older.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I always thought you were the older brother.
Yeah.
No shit. No
I'm
shit.
36, he's 33.
So and you just had 3 years.
4.5, a little over 4.5.
Oh, so you're both around the same time.
He's June, I'm July.
Got it.
I think also too, while he was speaking, I didn't want to cut him off, but like it helps that we have each other.
Absolutely, dude.
Because like even before, like when we're both doing the wrong thing or he's doing the right thing and I'm doing the wrong thing, it was hard when you see that other person, you're living in the same house with them and you guys are on like opposites.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's sober, he might have been sober for like a month or two, and this is back in the day, and like I'm out like going like, oh, I'm going to Maggie's tonight, or we're going here
what
or
are you
there.
doing,
yeah, exactly. And like you can see just it written on his face like that, like I'm missing out.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dude, I fucking went to my dad's crib. So you guys know my story. At a year sober, I got engaged, and then 6 months later, I fucking relapsed. But the whole time it was planned. I went to my dad's crib, like right before Megan was going on her bachelorette party, and I'm trying to convince this dude who's like, 15 plus years sober at the time, like, bro, yeah, I got a year and a half sober, but dude, it's my bachelor party. I'm just gonna get fucked up with traits and a couple other people in AC. I'll get back and start over. I don't even give a fuck. And he just looks at me, dude, like, and laughs. You know what I mean? Because like he knows I'm a fucking asshole, but my decision is already made. You know what I mean? Like, he wouldn't try to talk me out of it. Just fucking insanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can only relate that to like one's sober, one's not. Like I'm going to Maggie's, like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you should not be doing that.
Yeah.
Well, that was the worst because he could pick me up from a mile away if he knew I was off, and I'd be like,
Yeah. My dad can tell by the phone.
Yeah.
Just by talking differently on the fucking phone.
Just how me and you were talking a couple weeks ago. How you said you would get up for work in the morning and you would call him at like 5:30.
Why
and
you
like
call me at 5:30?
Yeah. Like it would be like you were up for like 5 or 6 hours at this point.
Yeah, like, yo, dude, can you tell I'm having a great day? Yeah, it's 5:30 on a Tuesday, bro. What are you on?
Yeah.
He would see me walk in the door, and it would be like, I'd be like, and he would ruin it all for me. I'm just like,
I could tell, like, I would call him and he would text me right back. What's up? What do you want? Like that almost thought that like he knew that I knew, or like that guilt. And like, even like I would walk in somewhere and I hadn't seen him and I could just tell his eyes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way he was acting.
Yeah.
And it would just throw like, and if it was in like a family setting, it was just like he knew that I knew and I knew that he was on.
Yeah. I know you know.
and he was pissed. Now no one's enjoying themselves.
No, yeah, exactly.
Right. It totally ruins everything, dude.
And like my mom would pick up on it and she'd be like, what's your problem?
So, dude, for me, like my dad and sister would always know. But I could keep it from Megan. So try juggle on that shit, dude. Like my sister and my dad, who are the closest people to me other than my wife and my daughter, know I'm a fucking addict, active in addiction. And I have to fucking keep it from my wife, and they're not going to tell her either because they're team me.
Yeah.
It was, oh my God, dude, it's brutal.
Yeah.
That's
brutal.
what I feel bad for at times too. Like, even with our relationship, like I put him in some bad spots.
Yeah.
Having to, like, he couldn't help me because I couldn't help myself, but it set this like divide and tension. And even if he was doing the right thing, he couldn't thoroughly enjoy being clear-minded and doing the right thing because he was worried about me and what I was doing and what I was up to.
How'd that affect like the family dynamic with your sister and your parents, like one on, one not? Like, well, let's back it up a little bit. Like, when did you both realize that there was a problem? I mean, I know you battled for X amount of years before you got where you got today, but like, when did you guys realize, like, back in the day, like maybe
He flew under the radar for a while.
I could like hide it. I could keep my life together.
Yeah.
And no one knew or
They just
would
thought you were
know.
just doing your thing, like a regular dude.
Yeah. Like I was back in nursing school. I was working. Like when he used, and I say this to people, his life will fall.
My
off the
life
rails.
would burn it to the ground. So I was like he might have even got away with more stuff or flew under the radar, but he also did like responsibly hold it together enough at times. And I think it helped him that I was such a shit show.
Yeah. Don't look at me, look at him.
That I mean,
all
not that
eyes
he
were
was
always
happy
on him.
about it.
Right.
Like, but it was also like I was lighting matches and setting that, like burning it down to the ground.
Yeah.
Where it was more glaring that they were focused and worried about me, which I also think made it a little more devastating when they found out that he needed help, because they thought the whole time Aaron and Jimmy's go, Ryan's a shit show, but we can hone in on him and corner him. And meanwhile, he's in the back lurking. And then when he came out,
your parents in the background, like 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and then I think that was a surprise.
So that was 2014.
Okay.
So 2014 is when we first went away to treatment.
Oh, so you went away? You guys went away together, or kind of?
I went away, came home, and I told him to go away.
No shit.
Yeah. And it was like, I had worked a summer camp out in like Western PA that summer. And I was like, I'll clean my act up out here.
Yep.
Like I'll be away from everything, no access to anything. I come home and I'm still doing, even up there, I would drive home 2.5, 3 hours to get what I need.
Dude, Maggie and I were on vacation, like, I guess like 3 or 4 years ago. And I already lined up a golf trip with one of the workers from the job I was on. And he was a good old head dude, like my dad's age, but he was a great dude. He was going to be down the shore at the same time as me. We were going to golf Saturday and Sunday. I golf with him on Saturday. I don't bring any drugs with me on vacation. Saturday is like the second day on vacation. I'm like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work. So we golf, and then I cancel golf the next day. But I tell my wife I'm still going golfing. I wake up, I drive from Margate to South Philly, back to Margate, but I got to kill like 2 hours. So I go to the driving range by myself because, like, golf lasts a while, dude. So like I had to kill a couple hours of the driving range, and then I go home and I spaced out like 1430s for like 6 days, and by like day 4 I had a half a left, and I'm like, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah, that's always how it works. You like plan it out in your head. I'm gonna get this amount, and I have this amount of days.
I'll go down the shore with this amount, thinking like the same thing. I'll separate, like, I'll be down there. I would even tell him, if he's like, you better, I'm like, Jim, I brought enough to get me through the night, and I'm going to bury myself down the shore for a week. Dude, I would be doing laps back to Philly in the same day.
Crazy.
And like tell my mom, I'm going to the beach down in North Wildwood, driving to Philly, coming back. I'll be home for dinner. And I'd show up home for dinner.
Happy as a motherfucker.
But it was just like, that's insane.
It's chaos. Like, you guys are sober a lot longer than me, but like even now, like a little over 14 months, it's like, I can't even believe I was doing the shit I was doing, dude. Yeah. Like going to work, lying, going to the gym, lying to my wife, to my dad. Like this was like,
my wife can't believe it. That's what the one good thing is.
That's
we
beautiful.
got together after, like, I had already been sober a year or two. So she and I've never held back anything from her. I'm very honest about what I've been through and things. But she can't believe some of the things. She's like, I can't even imagine. She'll, from time to time when things come up, ask questions.
Right.
And she's like, I can't even. I'm like, well, we wouldn't be here.
No. So Big Joe spoke the other day, and he talked about, Big Joe Gagne?
Yeah.
He talked about like, how they say the abnormal becomes normal?
Yeah.
But now his life has been so positive for so long that abnormal positivity is now normal.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the normal good life is just like, for us, it was so crazy to think you could have this life. And now it's just who you guys are.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's, it's just crazy, dude.
And I think the further you get away from it, like your last drug or drink, it's almost like you can't imagine what it would be like to go back. You're like, my life is like too good. At least for myself, like that's my mindset. Like my life's too good right now for me to want to go back or add something to it that adds no value. You know what I mean? Like, and even just as simple as like, I don't want to wake up hungover.
Yeah.
You know? Like, because I would be hungover for like 2-3 days at a time.
Oh, I just wouldn't get hungover. I would just do more drugs.
Yeah.
Like I would,
one day leads into the next.
Yes.
And that's the thing. It's like, it's cool when everybody's doing it in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then like when you're doing it every day and you're doing it not to feel sick and you're doing it by yourself and you're hiding it from people, not that it's ever like good to do it in the first place, but like, then you're like, damn. Kind of like you're in moments of like, damn, like I'm not doing the right thing.
Yeah,
you
feel it.
Yeah,
you feel
what's
it.
going on here?
Yeah,
you know. So
you talked about like what it was like, how desperate you were. You gave up on you wanted your family to give up on you, and that kind of like was the jumping off point to get the sobriety that you had. What led you to finally give in and realize that the way you were living wasn't the right way and make a change?
So I was in nursing school and I was nearing the end. And the whole time that I was in nursing school, like I'm leading this double life where everybody thinks I have it together. I'm about to graduate nursing school, have this career.
Yep.
When like on the other end, like I couldn't get more than 2 days sober. You know what I mean? And I wasn't like an everyday wake up in the morning user. I was like, get my shit done. And then at night, I'll have time by myself to relax. You know what I mean? And that's when I would. But like, it came down, and even in nursing school, it'd be like, all right, after the next test, Monday. All right, after Christmas. I would set all these timelines.
So you're getting high, doing the test, doing all the shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, I took the fucking GREs to get into graduate school, sober, did bad, took them high as shit on Suboxone, and did so much better than got in graduate school. It's like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
So I get that part.
Yeah. And like all these dates would come and go and all these timelines, and I would still be doing the same thing. I wouldn't be sober. And then it got to a point where like, yo, you're about to graduate nursing school and you worked really hard for the last 2 years to get to this point. Like, something bad is going to happen.
Yeah, you're going to get caught.
Yeah. You're going to get caught. You're going to be stealing from work. You're going to be high at work. You're going to overdose and die. Like, something bad is going to happen, and you're going to throw it all away for this.
Yeah.
You know? And like, so it was a week before I graduated nursing school. It was June of 2020. And we're fortunate too that most of our childhood friends and the guys we grew up with, our best friends, are all sober and have kind of done it before us, like Bradley, Jack.
Yeah, I just saw Jack last night.
Yeah. So I call my buddy.
Agent of the future. No, I'm just kidding, Jack. I love you.
So I called my buddy Bradley, and I just was like, dude, I have a problem. Like, I need help.
Yeah.
And like, he was like, really? Like, just like kind of like astonished.
He didn't know at all what you were doing?
No. Nobody did. So I was very like hidden about
Great liar.
Yeah. Or I would just do it behind closed doors.
Yeah.
No, and he had me running a circus on the outside.
Yeah. Like,
I was
if I was him, I'd be the same way. Like, look at him, dude. I'm good, bro.
Yeah. But then I would drag him into it. You know what I mean? Because I would know kind of that he was using and he wasn't doing the right thing. And then I'd be like, yo, how you doing? Or making out. And he'd be like, oh, I'm all right. And I'd be like, and we would always text each other, and we would say P for like Percocet.
Yeah.
P ? And like, it would be like, he wouldn't answer me for a while. As soon as I said that, you would just see the bubbles pop up in the text message that like, it would be like, well, and like, sometimes it would be like, he would try to convince himself, well, then it would be like, all right, how many do we need? How much money you got? You know what I mean? And like, we would get them, and not that we would use together, but like, he would be the runner and go get them, and I'd kind of be the money man.
Yeah.
So he would go out and get them, bring them back, and like, then he would go about his day.
Yeah.
And I would use, and we separately, but sometimes together. But with that, it would be like when he had money, and say he had $120, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would be getting 3 for himself and 1 for me. I would split it equal. You know what I mean? I'd be like,
dude.
I'd be like 2 for me, 2 for you.
Yeah.
He'd be like,
you ever seen that old
3
school
for
like
me?
Bugs Bunny cartoon? It's like you're counting out money, like $1 for you, 1 for me, 2 for you, 1, 2 for me.
Yeah. That's how it was. And that like kind of drove like a stake in our relationship. But it's all drug bullshit related.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
what was the first year like? So what was the first year like for you? You said, like, if somebody was listening that just got sober and they're in their first run at this, what got you through your first year?
The big part this time too was we have friends that are sober, and I had throughout, like, I think Jack has coming up on 9 or 10.
Yeah, I think it's definitely 9 or 10. He told me last night.
Which he had a big foundation. Bradley has more time than me, so there was guys around, but I always knew better. And I guess it's maybe me not jumping fully in to commit, but I never like did the sober like fellowship thing. I mean, and these are dudes I grew up with. It wasn't like I had to make friends in AA.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I always wanted to keep everyone at a little bit of an arm's length, my other attempts. And this time I leaned on like Jay Nice. Like, I would go to his house and watch football or basketball, whatever was on TV, sometimes 3-4 days a week.
Really?
And he just celebrated 10 years this past
Yeah, I
year.
remember him.
Leaning on guys, and we weren't there going through the big book. We were talking about sports, but it was that first year, I think, I basically lived at his house. Like, after work, we'd go there, and I needed that, and the guys around me, like Bradley and Jack, and go to meetings to make my new lifestyle feel normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think before, I would alienate myself in my head that what I'm doing is different from everyone, and it's not going to work, and, you know, like, why do I have to do this? And like, it was always like, poor me. Like, I don't understand why I have to do this, and I'm affected, and everything always pointed back at myself. And instead of like embracing that, these guys around me have pretty good lives. they're pretty cool dudes that like we have a lot in common. Let me like jump in with them and let people carry me for a while.
Yeah.
Because I think I was trying to run my own race by myself, and in the stories I've heard and from my own experience, it didn't work. It would work for a while, but like no one's too strong for AA to do it by themselves. Like I needed people to lift me and like take me to where I needed to be. And sometimes it was watching an NBA game on a Tuesday night after Bernard's.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was going to his house Sunday from 1 o'clock. I would watch the Eagles with my dad, and then I'd go over there for the 4 till 11 o'clock at night. And sometimes sobriety, AA wasn't brought up.
But that's still the fellowship, dude.
It was great. We're making each other laugh. Like you're living life, and it's like you're crawling again, and you're getting your feelers back again because all your emotions are coming back.
Yeah, it's a whole new experience.
And to be able to handle it with my brother around and bounce things off of each other, and him be there, like, is huge. To have like the sober support of your brother, who's your best friend, to be there. Like, so I think that was the guiding force. Like, I don't take any credit for my sobriety because I had all these people just going like this behind me, just and not bucking back, because I was a buck backer. Like, you're gonna tell me what to do, like I'm gonna do it this way, and just having faith that the people like my brother, sister, mom, and dad that never gave up on me, that I owed them to give myself the same chance and think about myself in the same light.
Yeah.
So I think like jumping in with people and not necessarily having to go to 4 meetings a day with these people, but like have a laugh. Let's have a dinner. Yeah. Let's go to a Judge game. Let's go whatever.
That's what my sponsor always says, dude. He told me since day one, like, 'cause I hated the term get with the herd. Yeah. I for like the first 6 months of sobriety, I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I go to meetings like hugging my wife. I don't care, dude. Like I that's all I wanted to do. And then like now with the time I have, like I made friends. I started taking commitments. Like I talked to different people. Like I never did this before. Yeah. I've been around AA for over a decade. I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When we see each other at the gym, it's a mini meeting.
That's fucking great. Yeah. I
let some shit out to you, and I mean always to him. Yeah. But like I see you and it's like a new face and someone to talk to that gets me, and like we'll bullshit about funny things, and then like, yo, like I'm pretty sad today about my dad, or you'll go and we get that out.
Meg always makes fun of me, like, because my face lights up when I see you two. Like, how gay you are. Like, whatever, dude, we're friends, dude.
It's like, so that's been a great outlet.
Yeah.
And having the gym, like working out.
Yeah,
I do it more for mental health than I do to be like a good CrossFit athlete.
Dude, I wouldn't say this to like an AA dude, but like the gym is equally as important in my recovery as AA,
it's a big
dude.
Piece.
Like, it's for me, it's like the same. If I don't go to meetings, I'll stop going to the gym. If for some reason I ain't going to the gym, then I probably ain't going to meetings. So like for me, it's just like, just goes hand in hand, you know?
Yeah. It's an outlet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And even going back to like what you were talking about as far as just hanging with guys, it's like even just us three, most of the time we just bullshit, shoot the shit.
Yeah.
But like in those moments or in those conversations or that 45 minutes or an hour that we're together at the gym, like there are like periods that we have serious conversations.
It's sincere. Yeah. It's about like,
and there's that bond. Even if it's not serious for that day, there's that bond. Like, you know where I'm at. Yeah. You know if you need to check in on me.
We were joking around about this, right? Like we're very similar, and like the things that irritate us kind of are the same. So when we see these irritating things, we're like, yo, did you see that fucking irritating thing? I saw that fucking irritating thing. Dude, that's fucking irritating. And we just go, next thing you know, it's a half hour later, and like we got to warm up again because like we're just irritated for a half hour.
We just commiserate about them.
Dude, this is terrible. Do you see that shit?
Which is therapeutic too.
Yeah. Dude, that's the beauty of it all, dude. Like to be able to identify, like, it doesn't always have to be fucking serious all the time.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
laugh.
Yeah. You can get sober not to laugh.
Who's the coach that died from NC State,
Valvano.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you laugh and you cry, it's something else. It's a full day.
It's a good day. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So what helped you get through your first year? Because you guys did it at the same time, so I imagine a lot of what he said is like.
So it was, for me, not that the first year wasn't hard, but for me it was harder to get sober than to stay sober.
100%.
It was to like
100%.
admit to people that I had a problem.
Yeah.
And I think like telling my family as far as like, and it wasn't really a big deal. I kind of just told my mom, like, I think I'm going to stop drinking. And I don't need it. And I know my mom and my sister and everybody are going to watch this, but I don't really know if they knew that I had a pill drug problem the second time around. Maybe they thought it was just drinking because what I thought was normal drinking was not. But it was harder for me to like to tell people I had a problem than to stay sober after the fact.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%, dude. I don't want to say the last 14 months have been easy, but it's been way easier than trying to stop.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That was the hardest part, dude.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part.
Yeah. So hard.
Yeah.
Because you know how many times you tried to and you failed.
So yeah, I probably would have went to, like, my ego got in the way so many times. I probably would have went to rehab before, but I always told myself, I can't let the dudes at work know. You know what I mean? The higher ups, like, I'm a fucking superintendent. Like, I have for me, a big time job. And I'm like, I can't tell them, dude. It'll ruin everything. Yeah. But at the end, dude, it was so fucking painful, bro. It was just like, I'm just going to tell them whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So, talk to me a little about today. 4.5 years sober. Like, what keeps you going today? I know you guys are huge in the gym. You know, like, I've known you for probably like maybe a decade now, around. Maybe like 8 years?
14 years, maybe.
That was
it? No Limit in 2010 or 2011.
Okay.
So I was in college still.
So 2010, 2011. And we met, I guess, probably like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother said, I told you this before, the first time I saw you at the gym. He's like, so he joined the gym before me. And then like a year into him being there, he's like, yo, you got to join this gym. It's awesome.
Because he was just doing workouts on his own, CrossFit. I'm like, just join the gym.
Yeah.
Like I was at the YMCA up in Willow Grove. So it was
during
during
get thrusters.
Get in the way, all these old people that just want to mingle and like pull on the lap, pull down. He's like burping over the bar. I'm like, dude, you got to get out of there.
So he's like, my boy Galati goes here or goes to the gym. I wonder if you've seen him yet. And I'm like, I don't know. So I think
because we've seen each other a handful of times before I knew that you were brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the first day I saw you at the gym, I think it was a Saturday. It was like a partner workout, or it was something longer. I think it might have been like Murph prep.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, you were kind of in and out of the gym at that time.
Oh, because I wasn't sober.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I went home and I said, I think I met Galati, or not met Galati, but I said, I think that dude Galati was at the gym. He's like, why? What do you mean by that? And I was like, I don't know. He came off the pull-up bar after he was doing pull-ups, and he's walking back to like the treadmill or like the rower, and he's like, I still got it. You know what I mean? Like, like out loud, like to everyone. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of like just like,
I was like,
all cocky.
That had to be a brief moment of sobriety then, because like those words don't come out like unless I'm actually like in it. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. Like when I started at Raid, you probably don't know the dude. There was a dude, Dave, that went there with a bald head. He like didn't look like he would be good, but he was really fucking good.
Yeah.
So one of the first workouts I did, I think the RX weight for the clean was like, I think it was like 205. And he ended up beating me in the workout, but he did way less weight on the workout. So, but his time was better. And I'm like, pussy, you didn't even do the weight. And like Megan's like, you can't say that here. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm sorry. Luckily the dude was cool as shit. Like it wasn't the wrong person to say that to.
Yeah.
But like from that point on, I'm like, I try my best not to like talk too much shit to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Because like no one really knows I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I just
Yeah.
it's whatever at this point, dude. Like when you guys are there, it's like it's just
Right.
gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy too? And this goes kind of hand in hand with sobriety and the gym. Like when you first join the gym and you do CrossFit like we do, it's kind of like you don't realize how out of shape you are, at least in the beginning for me.
Oof.
And it's like, I'm just trying to get through the workout. You know what I mean? I don't care what my time is, what the weight is. I just want the clock to stop.
That happens today sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even with sobriety, it's the same thing that like in the very beginning, it's kind of like, I just want to get another day.
Yeah.
And then like the further out you get, it's almost like, all right, like I kind of want to do this. I want to do this. You have like more lofty goals for yourself rather than just getting another day. You know what I mean? Or getting through the day, getting through the week. Getting through a certain moment in time or situation, something like that.
I get it. I don't know if like, because I'm around sober people all the time, like I don't know if like it's true or not, but they say like the addicts that get sober, like just they're so successful. Because like they feel like, I don't know about you guys, like it couldn't be, nothing in my world could ever be as bad as it was before I got sober.
Right.
So like you can't put me through anything worse.
Right.
Except for our fucking dad's dying, but like you get what I'm saying. That's terrible. But like to me now, it's like, well, what's the worst that could happen?
Well, that's how I think of sobriety now. Like if it's ever brought up, like people ask, like sometimes Diane will check in, like, hey, do you ever think about using or drinking or other people? And I'm like, I've already been through so much trying to get sober. There's 7 times. And through my sobriety with my dad passing away, I lost my job the same month my dad passed away. I was changing careers. Like I've already, like to go back now, like Like, I already got full body armor on.
Yeah.
Like, what else can you throw at me? Because I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be sober through it. So, like, you better buckle up.
You know, it's funny you say that because, like, my best friend on the planet, he was a heroin user, lived down in Kensington and Somerset. He was on the podcast before, and, you know, like, he got clean off sober, rehab, went to jail, stopped drinking and doing drugs. Wasn't really a big AA guy, but stopped doing drugs and drinking for, you know, at least 5 years, and now he drinks. And I'm like, dude, I don't think I could ever do that. Yeah. I just don't think I like.
I don't want to find out what happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For what? Like, to have like 3 Bud Lights for like 4 drinks for who?
Yeah. I like to snort drugs.
Right.
And that's never going to change.
Right.
And you
Like
can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, if I cracked the beer right here, like, you two wouldn't be happy.
No.
If I did that at Christmas, would like, and not even to make anyone else happy, like, it doesn't align with where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't. And like, it's almost a saving grace, like a guardian angel. I don't know if you think of it like this or you, with like daddy being gone, that like, what would he be proud? What decision would he be proud of in this moment?
Yeah.
What would he be thinking? And that's my biggest regret, that I wasn't able to show him enough of like the man I finally become. Like, I have a lot of work to go, but like, just for him to be like, and maybe he was able to rest easy knowing that I was on the right track,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but like to show him that I'm able to handle certain situations now.
You're a man.
Right.
Yeah.
And to enjoy like these things, like sober, and like, I mean, we got Notre Dame, the national championship coming up. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
a big thing for our family ever since we were kids. We went when I was in 7th grade. Like, I play the Here Come the Irish song before every game, before kickoff, and I cry every time because that's like a moment where I have with him right before the game. And it's a real emotional thing where I get really angry, because I still get angry that like, why can't he just be here with us for this? And like, the regret of like, I wish I took all those years away that I wasn't doing the right thing and could have been right there with him. Because I think he did a good job of valuing his time with my dad. Like, I think he saw it coming more than me and Aaron did, that like, it took me to get sober for my eyes to clear up to realize that like, I need to make the most of everything.
I get it. I just texted my sister like maybe a couple, 2-3 weeks ago. Like, I don't even know that I was a good son. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know. Like,
You texted her telling this?
to my sister. Yeah. I'm like, I don't even think that like, were dad and I even close like that?
Yeah.
And she's like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, that's your head. That's the
My head
opposite
said-
of the truth.
I totally
What
get
sparked that? for you
I
to
don't
text her?
know. Like, kind of similar to what your brother was saying. Like, my sister and my life just fucking subsequently took off after my dad passed. Like, all these great fucking things are happening. And I'm like, and he's not here to see it. And then I started thinking, like, did I ever really do anything cool with my dad? And like, and my sister starts rattling off all these things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why my head was telling me that.
Right.
I don't know. Like, and I think that's like, it's kind of like drugs and alcohol. Like, why would you think you can drink and you know you're gonna blow your life up?
Right.
Why would you think you're a bad son? Because your fucking head's crazy. Like,
Right.
it's just,
I totally relate.
For me in those situations too, getting back to like the drug and alcohol thing, I've seen from my experience that like when I was using, I would have a drink or two. And no matter what I would say before I started drinking, like today you're not going to use, today you're not going to use, you're just going to drink. I'll get 2 Corona Lights in my system and I'd be texting whoever
it's
I
off to the
Yeah.
races.
And once
Yeah.
you get that thought in your head, it doesn't go away.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Until you get what you need.
yeah. That's where my head's at today with my time. It's like, there's no way if you ask me today I can drink, because as soon as the beer touches my lips,
Yes.
it's perks and cocaine, or I won't be able to function.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's crazy.
And I think I'm good at like playing the tape forward now, like being sober, that
Mhm.
like if I do this, then this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's not going to end well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. How has your relationship, you know, you guys being sober roughly at the same time with your mom, how's that developed after your dad passed? I imagine that's like just brought you 3 or you 4 with your sister, you know, so much more closer.
Yes. We were already like close to start, but this has definitely like brought us even more.
Yeah. Because I know you always talk about going to your, like, I'm sure you do the same thing, but you always mention, you know, maybe you're going to eat with your mom, or you do all these things with your mom, go down the shore with your mom.
Yeah.
So like that's, you know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're always going down the shores like a family. We go over to my sister's. She has like one of those pizza makers, so we go over there to make pizzas. We're always going to Ryan Diane's for dinners and different things like that.
There's strength in numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because anyone left to their own devices going through something like that, especially my mom, who was with my dad 30 35 years or whatever. That support, like to be left alone, like to have because we all need each other at different times. You know what I mean? Like there's strength in numbers that we have each other. And it's a shame that as close as we were before, like this goes back to the regret. I wish I was more on top of, because like I'm always like a checker in, or like I talk to my mom every day, see how he's doing. Like I know him like the back of my hand, even through sobriety. Like, yo, you good? Like what's going on? Let's, you know what I mean? I can tell when he's off. And like, just even with like Aaron, like checking in and making sure everyone's kind of on the same wavelength and knowing that we're all here for each other. Like I kind of wish it was like that when my dad was here. Not that we needed each other for anything, but like to be more in tuned about like really absolutely caring about like if your sibling, loved one, family member is making it through the day all right.
Yeah,
like
who thinks like that?
Yeah. You don't, and it's
other than like people in recovery.
When things happen, and when things like tragedy and grief happen, it takes something bad for you to really open your mind up to the opposite effect of what you need to do to replace that. You know what I mean?
That.
Like
get that.
To reach out and fully care about someone else. Like I'm worrying if he's getting through his day all right. Like how are you mentally? Like before, like it's a shame it takes something so tragic. It's with anything. I mean, it's just human nature.
Yeah.
But we definitely, to go back to the point, like we're a cohesive group and we need to be.
Well, you know, it's like my sister and I are probably exactly like you two, except for that she's my sister, not my brother. And one of the challenging things in our lives is like we don't have an emotional connection to our mom. You know what I mean? She's my mom. I love her. But like if my dad was alive and I just got promoted, he'd be the day one, first call, wife second, sister third. You know what I mean? That would be the order. With my daughter following that.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't have a connection with my mom. So like you don't have a dad, right? You're just getting sober. Your life's going in this fucking wonderful direction. And I don't have that.
Right.
And like
she down in Arizona?
She's in Arizona. She's awesome. It's just some things happen that just like have an effect. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's just tough. So like you guys are blessed to have that. It's like your sister. So there's like four of you. You know what I mean? Like you share the moments. And one thing we do, since this has just popped in my head, anytime we go to dinner with my dad or my sister and my nephews, I call it no stories. Right? Everyone tells a story about my dad. The first memory that comes to your head. You guys should do it. It's fucking awesome. So you're out to eat, and my nephew Dito, he's autistic and he's the sweetest. And I'm like, all right, Uncle G, no story, you go. And whatever thought comes to our head about my dad, we just go around the table and everybody does it.
That's pretty cool.
It's fucking awesome. Because like you don't know what someone's gonna say.
Right.
One time I said, you know, I was a fucking asshole at baseball practice and I dumped my head in the water cooler and nobody could drink the water because my sweaty, dirty head was in the water cooler. And my dad called me a fucking asshole. I thought he was gonna kill me. Or like, another time, like I took him to Dallas for Eagles game. So like, you don't know what's coming to your head first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So speaking of that, give me your first story right now. What comes to mind when you think of your pop?
I don't know why this just came up. I guess because of sports. I remember my dad coached our St. Matt's football teams growing up.
Okay.
And he was probably the innovator, at least at that level in grade school, to have the games filmed.
Really?
So we could play it back. He was the defensive coordinator and watch the film. He would scout teams, so we were all prepared. So, of course, right after our games, he would go home, pop it in, and like look to see like how the game went. So I just remember like, I mean, this happened multiple occasions, but one time like knowing that like I might not have played the best game and trying to jump in the shower, get in my room, get changed, and walk past you, watch at my sister's room, walk past her room and down the steps out the door without like him hollering for me to come back. And usually he would get me and be like, "Right, what the fuck are you looking at here?" Or whatever the case may have been. But those were times that lasted through college. Like he would sit down with me. I remember he came up before one of our playoff games and we sat and watched film, and that was a pretty cool connection that we had about like talking ball. And he would listen to all my nonsense about like, you know, if the Eagles just play with another and they do that, like, so that those are things in spots that I miss about him. But that's a cool memory that I can go back on. And a lot of St. Matt's former players can advocate for how nuts he was about film, and he wasn't afraid to tell you.
That's
especially
fucking awesome.
His sons firsthand.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I just wanted to get out the door to the Donovan's. I was this close.
Well,
rides home from games.
Oh, that was the worst. Yeah.
We're thinking you played real well. I remember in college, like going up to the tailgate, like, I just killed it today. What's he gonna think? Like, you know, what were you looking at? Were your eyes in the backfield?
Yeah, second quarter, 5 minutes left, dude. What the fuck were you doing on that play, dude?
He would give me kudos too. He was good about that, and he was never more proud than probably watching Erin play the most. But all of us,
our
to be
sister
there.
was a stud.
Yeah.
What did she play?
She played basketball.
And you played ball too, basketball, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you saying he was a real good shooter.
Yeah.
Erin was she went to Holy Family. She got hurt in high school. I still say to this day, she probably would have been like a low Division I player if she never got hurt.
Oh shit.
But she went to Holy Family. She was a 1,000-point scorer, and like when you would sit next to my dad at like her games, you would see how proud he was because he would get all
his eyes would fill up.
Yeah, he would get all like
it was sick.
Teared up, and like it would like fire you up. You know what I mean? Because you knew how invested he was, how emotional, and you just knew that he was proud, and you knew that like. Even if he was playing or if I was playing, he was probably doing the same thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I would look up in the stands, even in college, and like either get the, like, keep going.
Yeah.
We're like, the head shake, but it was so cool. And like, it's just a great example that like, I think we're so fortunate to take that, like, hopefully if I'm blessed with children, like, he did everything for his family.
Yeah.
All he cared about, he would drive up to Lycoming 3 hours away, coolers packed, sandwiches are ready. What do you need? He would send me a long text before the game to fire me up, like with all his stuff and traveling for AAU. And Aaron, like, he was all in, and it was all about his kids. He didn't care about, oh, I got to make overtime and we got to buy this. Like, if he was at home with his kids or at his kids' games and we were together, like, that was his.
And that's the thing that he does, which is very similar to how my dad was, is like how he was talking about like checking in on people. My dad would do that. And my dad would realize that each of us in our family is different, and each of us needed like different care or different talking to in a different way. Yes. Yeah. And he's good at that, and he realizes that.
So give me yours. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
I don't know why, but he was just like, he was nuts with like, I remember my sister's a physical therapist, and before she was going to take her boards, and he did this with all of us. It didn't matter what it was or what the situation was, but she was going to take her boards, I don't know where. It might have been downtown somewhere at like a public testing center. And I think the week before, like he drove down there to check it out, where the parking garage was, like where she could park, what time she would have to leave,
fucking my dad
based on the time of day that she had to be down there. And like even the same for like him, like at one point he got kind of heavy, and this is post right after you got sober, maybe.
Yeah.
And he started like working out again and trying to do it more consistently. And I think him and my dad were down the shore, so he wanted to go for a run or something on the boardwalk. My dad comes up behind him, I think, on his bike, and my brother's got his headphones in and his phone in his hand. And my dad's like, "You got to put the phone on." Like comes up, he didn't even realize that he was behind him, and like he starts
coaching me on the way. And then I would like try to stop because I had just like started working out again. He's like, "Come on, let's go." I'm like, Jesus Christ.
He's fucking dying here.
He's a 30-year-old man, not a 16-year-old kid. You know what I mean? Like
no training camp anymore.
That's fucking sick,
but
dude.
For better or for worse, he was all in.
That was him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was him.
And that's something that will never leave me and will stick with me because it's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll give you a good one, right? I was always just an average athlete. I was never terrible, never great. And but I got cut. I played for Mayfair AC baseball. They had the Devlin League and the Peanut League, which is like, they're terrible leagues, but like that's what we have. I got caught from the Devlin League. I come home and I'm crying like a baby. I'm probably like 10 years old. And my dad's like, fuck that. I'll start my own team. So we had no Peanut League team. So we started the Peanut League team, right? And one of the games, my dad like knew every rule about baseball. Like he was like an encyclopedia. So one of the games, pitcher's throwing the ball, we're batting. One of the guys are up the plate, and the ball bounces in, but the kid swings. So it's considered a drop third strike.
Right.
It doesn't have to, like, if it hits the ground at all during the swing, it's a drop third strike. So my dad's like, run, run, run. And the umpire called him out without even letting him run. So you can't do that.
Yeah.
So my dad challenged the play. Right? Peanut League baseball at 10 years old, challenged the fucking play, won the challenge. We finished the game like 3 days later. We lost. Right? But fast forward 20 years, if that got brought up, we won that challenge.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. It's more important than the game.
All that matters, dude.
Yeah.
That's why I have all this wisdom for this one instance that I can pull it out and use it.
Yeah.
That's it, bro.
And I think too, with like, Daddy was like a coach at heart with everything that he did. Like even I was going to try out for Diamond Beach Beach Patrol, or I was going to be a lifeguard on the beach, and you had to run like a mile in a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, we're going to start training for this. And I'm like, what the fuck? And
now, was he a stud athlete growing up too? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Is that why he's like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just remember going up to the track down in Wildwood, like for like 2-week period. And like, it would be like, all right. And I don't know where he got this method from or this way of doing it, but like today we're going to do 8 100s. All right, tomorrow we're going to do like 6 200s. You know what I mean? Then we're going to do
straightaways, jog the curve.
Stuff like that. And you're like, where did you get this? But you never questioned it. You kind of just did it.
Yeah.
And you might have given him a hard time in the moment.
Yeah.
But then after the fact, you're kind of like, damn, that was pretty cool. And maybe that was but maybe that was his time or like his way of spending time with us.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know?
That's fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's when you think about like woulda, shoulda, coulda, it is fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
It is. And that's one of the hardest. I'm not very emotional when it comes to that. And I think I've told you this before, that like we could be watching a documentary or something on TV that I don't have any association to anything that's going on the TV. And I'll start like bawling like a baby. And even like in the passing of my dad and his last moments, or us being at the hospital, like I would get teary eyed, but I wasn't to the same effect that like my mom or my brother was. And sometimes I'm like, am I like a psychopath for that?
No, I get that.
Or like,
I get that.
is that all going to come out at some point, somewhere down the line?
That's
And
what
will
life thinks for me.
Yeah. And will I be able to handle it if that time comes? But one of the hardest times for me was at the end, like, remember the day when we made that decision to like let him go and put him on comfort care? Like my mom was like, all right, I'll let each of you go in. You guys can spend as much time as you want with them, just by yourselves.
Yeah.
Like we would each go in for like half hour, 45 minutes. We would come out, the next person would go in. And then all of us went in together and they pulled the tube. And I just remember I was at the foot of the bed and I remember my brother being in the corner of the room. And like, I think with him, he just doesn't know how to sometimes like control his emotions.
Who, you?
Yes. Or what to do. And I just see him in the back, like kind of like losing it as far as like balling his fist together and like everything is coming out.
Yeah.
And I felt like very like helpless in that moment. You know what I mean? Because like no matter what you do or what you say, like it's not going to be the right thing. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And even for my mom, like down at the end, like, and even to this day or in present time, like I'll come to her with some of my problems, and they might be like relationship issues or things I'm going through with a girl or something like that. And I'm like, she lost the person that she loves, who she's been with for 30, 35 years. And I'm coming to her with something that like in the grand scheme of things. What?
Yeah, but like it's life.
Yes.
It's
yes.
life.
Yeah.
It's life though.
Yeah.
My sister, just by the way you guys are talking, I think I was more like you and my sister was more like you with the like, we both had the equal connection with my dad, but in different ways. Like she lived next door to the guy for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like she would go over there, she would make him dinner, all this kind of shit. And like, I'm the jerk off who just like would drive by after work, like, yo, what's up, dude? Like, right. I would
spent quality time with Dad today. I said hi.
So he would call me, and if Megan was around when he called, we might say like 15 words, but like 100 different things were just conveyed to each other.
Right.
You know, that was our relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we said, I love you and stuff like that, but like he just was always, he said, always there, always present. Like he just knew everything about me. He knew what was going to happen to me before it even happened. You know what I mean? Like he could just see the trajectory I was on.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just your dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wanted to do this because 2 of you are my friends, and you know, I joked around on the Instagram like sober CrossFit dad's club. And I'm like, Hank's like, should you have said that? I'm like, nah, they're cool, dude.
Yeah. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, I was at a meeting last night, and the dude was sharing. You know, the dude Mike Hill passed away.
No,
he was a sober dude from Royal Men's. He passed away a couple weeks ago. And
older guy, younger,
43, 44.
Okay.
So a dude, they were sharing about him passing away, and the one guy was like, his girlfriend passed away like 5-6 years ago. So the guy Mike Hill was around, and he texted his buddy, "Did you get a Christmas card from whatever the wife's name was? She was dead." He did it to be funny. Oh. I'm like, I get that sense of humor. There's only like maybe like 3 people on the planet that can say that to me, but I get that. Yeah, I mean, some people that wouldn't work.
Yeah,
yes. You know, one of the things that when you got married, you know what I mean? Like, we're friends. You know what I mean? I'm not one of your. I didn't grow up with you, dude. And I don't know what made me do that, but I sent you the voicemail, dude, because I felt that pain and that love at the same time, and I wanted to share that with you. And like, was that weird to do that?
No, that was awesome.
All right.
What was it? What was this?
So my dad, the night I got engaged, he left me a voicemail. He says, "Yo, bro, good luck tonight. I hope everything works out the way you want it. All right, pal." And I sent that to him.
Yeah.
You know, when he got married, you know, maybe like the day or so before.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, we were all in the same boat with our dads, and like, you know, I wanted like. One way I wanted to let you in, and I thought that would be special. Like, I didn't give you a present, you know what I mean? But like, I think that's kind of the connection, like, that we're developing.
That's better than a gift, because in those moments, as I'm going through the greatest time of my life, also trickled in with sad things. It's another, just like, hell, he obviously can relate to me and my family, and Diane with losing her dad. Like, to have another person to really drive it home that like, you're not alone.
Nah.
You know what I mean? And I think the craziest thing, and I've been thinking about this, is I'm sure for you, like, I think my dad is my superhero. Like, without him, like, before I'd be like, well, life just wouldn't, I couldn't imagine life without him. Like, life wouldn't go on, but like, life has gone on.
Yeah.
And like, we've all had to make decisions to go back to my first point, to make the next right choice, to set myself in the direction that my dad could be proud of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the message I try to carry within myself going forward, because there's times I get mad. Like, I'm sure Monday night before the game, I get emotional, I get sad, and I get angry. And there's certain different times where I want to call him to talk about the Eagles and with the standings and what the Phillies are doing and not doing. And that's when it hits me. And it's just during those times to just keep making the right decision. You know what I mean? The next right choice.
Yeah.
And I think that has carried me leaps and bounds.
That's recovery.
Yeah.
That's what defines your recovery right there.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being able to connect, being sober, going through what you went through, to doing the next right thing that your dad would be proud of. And that's, to me, like, recovery.
Right. And whatever works for whatever person.
Whatever works, whatever.
You know what I mean? Like, certain things had to get me through the beginning at certain times.
You take what you need in that moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever gets you to like I said, I think it's the momentum.
Yeah.
And then building your life up so good that it's the opposite of where you were, that you wouldn't give it away for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is I wouldn't give away the look on my mom's face when we celebrate a year or on a random weekend down the shore, and the fact that she has both of us sober in her life at her most vulnerable time.
Yeah.
Because at my most vulnerable time, my mom loved me when I couldn't love myself.
Yeah.
And she never gave up on me.
Nope.
And I would say to people out there that have family that are battling addiction, don't give up. Because you not giving up might be the one turnkey that gets them through the door and makes it happen for them next time.
That's fucking awesome.
Even with that said,
awesome.
There's been occasions at like holidays and stuff, that like my mom will come up to me and just be like, you know, the best part about tonight is that you and your brother are both sober.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Hell
stuff like
yeah.
that, where it sets in and you're like, I've been such a shit for so many years,
Yes.
or have ruined holidays, or have been doing this or that.
Yeah.
And that, like, this means the world to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even us, because things would come up and she just would know that it'd be a drinking event or would turn into that. And
She's like got to brace herself with the
Yes.
fucking chaos that's about to happen.
100%.
Yeah.
And now she doesn't have to worry about that. Like in December, we went up to New York. It wasn't that at all. We're sober.
Mm-hmm.
We went down the shore for what we call Hallmark weekend in Cape May. It wasn't that at all. You know?
You went to Notre Dame with the ashes?
Yes.
That's fucking special.
Yes.
That's special.
Awesome. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's good. And it's like moments like that like she'll say stuff like that, or you'll realize that like she's proud.
Mm-hmm.
Or it means so much to her that we are sober. Because no parent wants to raise a kid who's going to become an addict or an alcoholic, you know?
They didn't sign up for it.
And it's almost like she, at certain points in her life, have looked at herself like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of our families and sobriety, you know what I mean?
Like, could I have done this?
Yeah.
Like, if I did this instead of this, would things have been different?
Mm-hmm.
But, like...
I guess when it's your child, like, you have a daughter, like, I don't have children. I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, no,
like,
I mean...
Because I think it's easier for people to say, well, what if you would have... And it's just like, you don't know.
You don't know. My daughter had her own struggles, and, like, you try to, like you said, you try to be there, you try to love, and sometimes being there and showing love comes out in a bad way. Right. That was my relationship with my daughter. Like, you want to be there, you want to be supportive, and this day and age, tough love doesn't work, especially on a young girl. And like, you know, there's no playbook to this shit, dude. I had her at 20.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you know, but you're right, to your point, being there, at least she knows I was there.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're present. Like, you might be a son of a bitch, but like, you know, I think that's the most important thing, dude.
Right.
Yeah. You know?
And it's like even like being a coach, as far as like, if you have 5 players on a team, each of them responds to things differently.
Absolutely.
You're not going to coach every player the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that goes for like, I can't speak to it, but like you having a daughter. Over the years, you've realized kind of what works, what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
What you can say, what you shouldn't say in certain situations or moments. You know what I mean? How she'll respond positively or negatively.
Or stop talking to me.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And like, that's my recovery. You know what I mean? My connection with my family, my daughter specifically, like learning when to shut the fuck up or keep your, you know, you don't have to have such a hard opinion. You can dance around what you're trying to say and not be so blunt, you jerk off. You know what I mean? So like, that's one thing I'm learning. You guys ever, it's kind of weird, but every once in a blue moon, not a lot, like my instinctual reaction will be to try to call my dad. Like for like a half a second. Like, has that ever happened to you too?
I used to go for the phone in the beginning. Now I don't. It comes in my mind. Excuse me. Comes in my mind all the time. But in the beginning, I would go for the phone.
Like an instinctual thing. Like, he's dead.
That was rough.
My sister, we joke harsh. Like, yo, wouldn't that be cool if Dad was around? But he's dead. It's like
whatever works.
Yeah, my grandfather would say it's funny, but it ain't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I never go for the phone. I'll listen.
It's not like a hard grab. It's like a split second thought where like that's what I would do in that moment.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
I'll listen to voicemails.
Yeah, I did that last week.
Yeah. Or like I'll try to go through. I think after a certain amount of time, it deletes your text messages. But sometimes I would try to go back to like a conversation that we may have had through text. And he wasn't the greatest texter. But
yeah, old dudes.
I think I think they disappear after a while. So I wasn't able to. Yeah.
So I love what you said to finish up about how your connection with recovery and having a good life is thinking of your dad and like you do the next right thing and that's your connection to your pop. I like that. Do you have something similar? Like if you had to close it out and say, you know, what keeps you going on the street and doing positive shit with your life? Like what's your driving force? Like your brother's was making his dad proud. Like what's that for you? Like how do you keep going in the positive direction? What keeps you going?
I think a lot of it is when I first got sober, I saw kind of the changes that happened and how I was able to be present and there for the people that loved me. And I don't want to ever give that up or give that back. You know what I mean? I want to be there for my mom. I want to be there for my brother, my sister. And just, I know that if I'm not sober, I'm not going to be that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even in the beginning, like the first year of sobriety, there were situations that happened, like just being down the shore we had my cousin's son's birthday party. My 2 aunts are a little older and it was down on the beach. And like, I just remember being there and present and being able to like pick them up at the house, walk them down to the beach, bring their chairs and their coolers and different things down. And then when the day was over, being able to do the same thing in reverse.
Right.
And like, if I'm sober, I'm not there, A, and B, I'm not going to be doing those things for them. You know
I get
what I mean?
it. Yeah.
And even being like, when things pop up in my head, like a memory or something, or when I think of somebody that's important to me or something that I have or connection, I try to like text that person what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Because like, you kind of know what it's like to someone to reach out to you and like they were thinking of you in a moment and you're like, damn, that was pretty cool.
That was super nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that thoughtfulness that like damn, somebody else was thinking about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a cool feeling. It's corny as it may be.
I like that.
You recognize that in sobriety, like those things matter.
Yes. And memories will pop up on my phone, like pictures and stuff. And I'll try to
and then you'll text me and Ryan and we'll laugh because it's super funny about some weirdo that we know now. It's so hard for me not to like really just like have this be like this open discussion where we just like be our true selves. Hey, we're sober. We live a good life. You know what I mean? We love our families. You know what I mean? You guys are my friends, dude. I thank you guys for doing this. I was nervous to start because like, you know, you just like, we talk at the gym for a little bit. We're busting it up. You know, we do a workout and then we fucking like we grind after. And it's like, this was cool. This is cool for me. So I appreciate you guys doing this.
This was awesome. And I was nervous too. But it's kind of like once you get into it, you start.
Well, we're just friends. Bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, the whole point of it was the day before rehab. Like in my mind, the day before your dad passed, my dad passed, the day before we got sober.
Yeah.
You know, I think we kind of touched on all like life, what it looked like before that and what it looks like now. And like, congratulations on your engagement.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to be probably getting engaged in like couple hours. So thanks, fellas. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having
us on.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome.
I guess I want to end it this way.
Love you, bro.
Yeah.
We love you, Dad.
I love all of you.
We love you, daughter.
I love you too. Wow, that was nice. And I tell you what, let's go!